The Calorian Dominion had guarded the Nereid verge for almost 11,000 years. Their ships were beautiful, bright, and silent. Their cities floated above silver oceans. Their armies were so large that most enemies surrendered before the first shot was fired. The Calorians believed the galaxy had already learned one truth: no one challenged them. Then the Hollow Swarm arrived. They came from the dead space beyond the known stars. No warning, no message, no reason. Their ships were black, twisted, and silent, like pieces of night given shape. Admiral Thalen Oris stood on the bridge of the Calorian flagship Dawnspear and watched his empire fall apart. 300 Calorian warships had entered the Asteron Rift. Only 52 remained. "Admiral," his second officer said, voice shaking, "our shields are failing again. Their weapons are passing through us." Thalen gripped the command rail with all four hands. The Calorian Dominion had ruled through strength for thousands of years. They had forced weaker worlds to obey. They had taken tribute, territory, and loyalty. They called it order. Now their greatest fleet was dying in minutes. Another cruiser vanished outside the viewport. No explosion, no wreckage, just gone. For the first time in his life, Thalen felt helpless. "Send the emergency call," he said. The bridge went silent. "Admiral," the communications officer whispered, "that signal will reach everyone. Allies, rivals, unknown sectors, even worlds outside our control." Thalen turned toward her. His eyes were filled with anger, shame, and fear. "Then let everyone hear us," he said. "Call anyone who can fight, anyone who can move, anyone who still understands mercy." The distress signal launched into space. It crossed Calorian borders. It passed broken colonies and silent defense stations. It reached species that feared the Dominion. It reached species that hated it. Most heard the signal. Most ignored it. The Calorians had made subjects, not friends. But the signal kept moving. Far beyond Calorian maps, it reached a small blue planet called Earth. Captain Maya Reeves was in the lower mess hall of the UEF Resolute when the alarm sounded. She set down her coffee and walked to the bridge. "What do we have?" she asked. Commander Hale turned from his station. His face was pale. "Captain, we received a signal from outside human space. It is not ours." Maya sat in the command chair. "Play it." A broken alien voice filled the bridge. The translator fought through static, then formed the words. "This is Admiral Thalen Oris of the Calorian Dominion. We are under attack by an unknown force. Our fleet is dying. If anyone hears this, please help us. We cannot survive alone." No one spoke. For 2 centuries, humans had searched the stars and found only silence. Now the silence was begging. Hale looked at the data. "Distance is 480 light-years. And, Captain, there is a civilian code hidden inside the message. Evacuation priority." Maya's expression changed. "There are children in that system," Hale said. Maya stood. "Send it to UEF Command." 6 hours later, the answer came. A fleet was being assembled. Not to conquer, not to claim territory, to answer a call. At the edge of the solar system, 200 human warships gathered in darkness. Admiral Elias Grant's voice moved across every channel. Someone called for help. Humanity will answer. The fleet jumped into hyperspace. Far away, Admiral Thalen received one final response. A species he had never heard of was coming. They called themselves humans. But before the humans arrived, the Hollow Swarm turned back toward the broken Calorian fleet, and this time they brought something larger than any warship. The Hollow Swarm moved again. Admiral Phelan watched their black ships shift across the battlefield. They did not move like separate vessels. They moved like one body, one thought, one hunger. Then the thing behind them came forward. At first, Phelan thought it was a moon. He was wrong. It was a vessel, larger than anything the Kaelorians had ever built. Its surface was covered in dark ridges and glowing cracks. Long arms unfolded from its body like the legs of some ancient predator. Smaller hollow ships gathered around it, not like guards, but like worshippers. The bridge of the Dawn Spear went silent. "What is that?" Phelan asked. No one answered. The massive vessel opened at the front. A deep red light formed inside it. His second officer stepped back from her console. "Admiral, energy levels are beyond measurement." "Scatter the fleet," Phelan shouted. "All ships, break formation." The order came too late. The red light fired. It did not explode. It erased. A Kaelorian battleship disappeared from space as if it had never existed. No fire, no debris, no final transmission. Just absence. Fear spread across the bridge. The Dominion had spent centuries teaching others to fear Kaelorian power. Now Phelan understood what those worlds had felt when his ships appeared above them. Small, trapped, powerless. "Admiral," the communications officer said. The hollow swarm moved again. Admiral Phelan watched their black ships shift across the battlefield. They did not move like separate vessels. They moved like one body, one thought, one hunger. Then the thing behind them came forward. At first, Phelan thought it was a moon. He was wrong. It was a vessel, larger than anything the Kaelorians had ever built. Its surface was covered in dark ridges and glowing cracks. Long arms unfolded from its body like the legs of some ancient predator. Smaller hollow ships gathered around it, not like guards, but like worshippers. The bridge of the Dawn Spear went silent. "What is that?" Phelan asked. No one answered. The massive vessel opened at the front. A deep red light formed inside it. His second officer stepped back from her console. "Admiral, energy levels are beyond measurement." "Scatter the fleet," Phelan shouted. "All ships, break formation." The order came too late. The red light fired. It did not explode. It erased. A Kaelorian battleship disappeared from space as if it had never existed. No fire, no debris, no final transmission. Just absence. Fear spread across the bridge. The Dominion had spent centuries teaching others to fear Kaelorian power. Now Phelan understood what those worlds had felt when his ships appeared above them. Small, trapped, powerless. "Admiral," the communications officer said, "the human fleet is still 12 minutes away." 12 minutes. The broken Kaelorian fleet did not have 12 minutes. The hollow weapon began charging again. Phelan looked at the evacuation ships behind his fleet. Inside them were civilians, families, children who did not know the names of the captains dying for them. He closed his eyes for one breath. Then he opened them. "This is Admiral Phelan Orris. I will not lie to you. We may not survive the next few minutes, but behind us are people who cannot fight. If we fall, they die." His voice grew stronger. "We were not always honorable. We were not always kind. But today, we can still choose who we are. Today, we hold the line." Across the battlefield, damaged Kaelorian ships turned back toward the enemy. They were afraid, but they stayed. The hollow weapon fired again. 2 more ships vanished. Then space tore open behind the swarm. Human warships dropped from hyperspace in tight formation. Their hulls were dark gray, heavy, angular, and covered in armor. Compared to Kaelorian ships, they looked rough and brutal. but to Thalen they looked beautiful. A human voice came through the channel. "This is Admiral Elias Grant of the United Earth Fleet. Kaelorian vessels, fall back behind us." Thalen stared at the screen. Grant's voice became cold. "We'll take it from here." The human fleet opened fire. But the first human attack did not hit the hollow ships. It hit the empty space around them, revealing a secret no Kaelorian sensor had ever seen. The human shots crossed the battlefield and struck nothing. For one breath, Admiral Thalen thought the humans had missed. Then the darkness cracked. A hidden shield appeared around the hollow fleet, glowing like broken glass. It had wrapped the enemy ships in a field of false images, bending light and hiding their true positions. The Kaeliorians had not been fighting the real fleet. They had been firing its shadows. Thalen's second officer whispered, "Our sensors never detected that." On the human channel, Captain Maya Reeves gave calm orders. "All ships, keep pressure on the distortion points. Do not chase the targets. Break the mirror first." The mirror. That was what the humans had understood. The hollow swarm was not only powerful, it was deceptive. Every Kaeliorian ship that had died had been shooting at the wrong place. Thalen felt shame rise inside him. His empire had thousands of years of war behind it, yet these humans had understood the battlefield in seconds. The giant hollow vessel turned toward the human fleet. Its red weapon began to charge. "Admiral Grant, that weapon is preparing another shot." "I see it. Captain Reeves, take your squadron under its firing arc. Force it to turn." "Understood." 12 human ships broke formation and rushed toward the massive hollow vessel. They were tiny compared to it. The red weapon fired. Maya's squadron split apart at the last possible moment. The beam missed them and tore through 3 hollow ships behind them. A cheer erupted across the Dawn Spear's bridge. The humans had made the enemy wound itself. "Now," ordered Grant. The main human fleet fired together. Railguns, missiles, and lasers struck the weakened distortion points. The hidden shield cracked, flickered, and shattered. For the first time, the true hollow formation appeared. It was not perfect. It was crowded. It was vulnerable. Grant's voice came through again. "Kaeliorian ships, if you still have weapons, aim for the exposed center line." Thalen did not hesitate. "All remaining vessels," he ordered, "fire with the humans." Kaeliorian energy beams joined human weapons. Silver light and burning metal crossed the darkness together. One hollow ship exploded, then another, then 10 more. The swarm began to fall back. But victory did not feel safe. The giant hollow vessel opened again. This time, no red light formed. Instead, a deep sound rolled through every ship. It was not heard by ears. It pressed directly into the mind. Crew members cried out. Some collapsed. Thalen gripped the rail as pain stabbed through his skull. On the human channel, Maya's voice shook but held. "Admiral, it's broadcasting something." The translator captured only 3 words: found, remembered, return. Then the hollow swarm stopped fighting. Every black ship turned away and jumped into darkness. The battlefield became silent. Thalen stared at the empty space where the enemy had been. They had not retreated in fear. They had received an order. When the humans decoded the final signal, they discovered the hollow swarm had not come to conquer the Kaeliorians. It had come searching for Earth.
The decoded message stayed on the screen. They came searching for Earth. No one on the bridge of the Resolute spoke. Captain Maya Reeves stared at the translation, waiting for it to change. It did not. The words remained clear and impossible. Commander Hale turned slowly from his station. "Captain, how can they know Earth?" Maya had no answer. Humanity had only entered deep space a few centuries ago. Earth had never met the Kalorians. It had never met the Hollow Swarm. It should have been unknown. Admiral Grant's voice entered the command channel. All senior officers to the Titan's shield, now. 1 hour later, Maya stood inside the war room of the human flagship. Admiral Grant was there, along with Admiral Thalen Orris and the surviving commanders from both fleets. Thalen looked exhausted. His uniform was burned across one shoulder. One of his hands was wrapped in medical cloth, but his eyes were sharp. "You believe the message is true?" he asked. Maya nodded. "The signal was not aimed at your fleet. The Hollow used your battle to draw us out." A painful silence filled the room. Thalen's face tightened. So my people were bait. No one denied it. For the first time, the proud Kalorian admiral did not look angry. He looked ashamed. Grant placed both hands on the table. "We need to know why they want Earth." A human intelligence officer activated a hologram. The final hollow signal appeared as waves of dark red sound. "There is another layer beneath the message. It contains coordinates." "To Earth?" Maya asked. The officer swallowed. "Not exactly. The coordinates point under Earth." A blue hologram of the planet appeared. It turned slowly, then zoomed through the atmosphere, past clouds and ocean, deep beneath the Pacific. The marker stopped far below the sea floor. Maya felt her stomach tighten. Grant's voice lowered. "What is down there?" "We don't know," the officer said, "but the hollow signal calls it the first gate." Thalen looked from the map to the humans. "Your world has a hidden structure inside it?" Hale shook his head. "We would know," but he did not sound sure. Maya thought of old reports from Earth, strange magnetic storms in the Pacific, deep-sea signals dismissed as natural noise, government files sealed because they sounded impossible. Now nothing felt impossible. Grant turned to Maya. "Captain Reeves, your ship is the fastest. Return to Earth immediately. Take Thalen with you." Thalen narrowed his eyes. "Me?" "You know the Hollow better than anyone here," Grant said, "and your people nearly died because of this. You deserve answers, too." Thalen looked at Maya. There was still distance between them, human and Kalorian, allies but not friends. Then he nodded. "I will go." The Resolute jumped toward Earth within the hour. During the flight, no one slept. When the ship reached the solar system, alarms screamed. "Captain," Hale said, "there is something in orbit around Earth." The screen cleared. A hollow ship floated above the blue planet, waiting. Before Maya could order weapons ready, the hollow ship sent one message directly to Earth. "Open the gate, or we open it for you."
"Open the gate, or we open it for you." The message flashed across every human defense network. For a moment, Earth no longer felt like home. It felt like a target. Captain Maya Reeves stood on the bridge of the Resolute. Below them, Earth turned in peaceful blue and white. Cities glowed on the night side. Oceans reflected sunlight. Billions of people continued their lives, unaware that alien ships had threatened their world. Commander Hale looked at her. "Earth Defense is asking for orders." Captain Maya forced herself to stay calm. "Tell them not to fire unless fired upon." Hale frowned. "Captain." "If they wanted to destroy us, they would have done it already," Maya said. "They want the gate. That means we need to understand it before we start shooting." Admiral Thalen stepped closer to the screen. His eyes stayed fixed on the Hollow Scout. "That ship is not alone," he said. Maya turned. "How do you know?" "The Hollow never reveal their full hand." The sensors flickered. Then more shapes appeared. 10 hollow ships, 20, 50. They had been hiding behind the moon inside a mirror field. Earth Command's voice came through, tense and afraid. "Resolute, we are tracking multiple hostile vessels. Civilian governments are demanding answers." Maya closed her eyes briefly. There were no easy answers. "Tell them the truth," she said. "Earth is under threat, and we are responding." The holo sent another signal. "Gate opening required. Human delay is unacceptable." Maya opened a channel. "This is Captain Maya Reeves of the United Earth Fleet. You are in human space. Explain what this gate is and why you want it." The holo reply came at once. "The gate is not yours. It was buried before your species had memory. Open it." Thalen's expression shifted. Maya noticed. "You know something." "There are old Kalorian records," he said. "Stories before our first starships. They mentioned ancient gates across the galaxy. We believed they were myths." "What did they do?" Thalen's voice became quiet. "They connected places that should never touch." The bridge went still. Hale whispered, "A doorway?" "Between galaxies," Thalen said. "Maybe between dimensions." Maya looked down at Earth. Deep beneath the Pacific, something ancient was waiting. Hours later, the Resolute entered the atmosphere. Maya, Hale, and Thalen landed on a military platform in the middle of the Pacific. Storm clouds rolled above them. Black water stretched in every direction. Admiral Sophia Keller greeted them. "We scanned the coordinates," Keller said. "There is a structure below, huge, metallic, not natural." "How old?" Maya asked. Keller looked toward the ocean. "Older than human history." The first dive began at sunset. Maya, Hale, Thalen, and 2 scientists descended in a military submersible. The ocean swallowed them. Light faded. Pressure rose. The world became black. Then they saw it. A circular structure rested on the ocean floor, half buried in stone and sand. It was larger than a city. Blue symbols glowed across its surface. At the center of the ring, something moved. A thin crack in reality. The submersible shook. Hale whispered, "Captain, the gate is waking up." Maya looked at the structure and understood the truth. The holo were not trying to open it. Something inside was already opening it from the other side. When the first voice came through the gate, it did not speak to the holo. It spoke directly to humanity by name. The voice came through the gate like thunder beneath the sea. It did not sound like the holo. It did not sound like any language Maya knew. Still, the translator understood it immediately. "Children of Earth, you have returned." Inside the submersible, no one moved. Commander Hale's face lost color. "Returned?" Captain Maya Reeves stared at the glowing ring on the ocean floor. The blue symbols pulsed like a heartbeat. The crack in the center widened, revealing darkness deeper than the water around it. Maya opened the communication channel. "This is Captain Maya Reeves of the United Earth Fleet. Identify yourself." Static answered first. Then the voice returned. "I am the keeper of the first gate. I was left here before your world had cities, before your people carried names." Thalen leaned forward. "Ask who built the gate." Maya repeated the question. The symbols flashed. "Your ancestors did." Silence filled the submersible. Hale shook his head. "That is impossible. Humans had no starships back then. We barely had civilization." The voice replied before Maya could speak. "The humans you know are not the first humans." Maya felt cold spread through her chest. Above them, Earth held museums, history books, and stories about where humanity began.
Down here, beneath the Pacific, something older than every nation was saying those stories were incomplete. Phelan leaned forward. "Captain, this changes everything." Maya kept her eyes on the gate. "Why are the Hollow here?" The answer came slowly, as if the keeper was waking from a long sleep. The Hollow were once guardians of the gate builders. They were made to protect the paths between galaxies, but they betrayed their purpose. They began opening gates to worlds that were not ready. Maya's jaw tightened. And now they want this one? Yes, this gate is different. It does not lead to one place. It leads to the old network. If they control it, they can reach every hidden gate in the universe. Hale whispered, "Earth is not just a planet." Maya finished the thought. "It's a key." The submersible shook again. Outside, the crack widened. Something pressed against the other side. Large, patient, waiting. Maya contacted the surface. "Admiral Keller, we have a problem. The gate is unstable, and something is trying to come through." Keller's voice returned through heavy static. "Hollow ships are moving into attack position above Earth. They are demanding access." Phelan turned to Maya. "If they force the gate open, your world may not survive." Maya closed her eyes for one breath. Then she made her decision. "We seal it." The keeper's voice softened. "To seal the first gate, a living command must be given from inside the ring." Hale stared at her. "Inside?" Maya understood the cost. Someone had to enter the gate, and they might never return. Before Maya could speak, Phelan placed one hand on her shoulder. "My people brought this war to your door," he said. "Let me pay the price." Maya looked at him. "No," she said quietly. "Earth is my home. This choice is mine." Then the gate opened wider. From the darkness, a human hand reached out. The person who stepped through the gate was not an enemy. It was a woman wearing an ancient Earth uniform, and she knew Maya's name. The woman floated beyond the open gate. She looked human. Not almost human, not similar, human. Her skin was pale in the gate's cold light. Her dark hair moved gently in the water, though no current touched it. She wore a silver and black uniform marked with a blue circle split by a bright line. The woman opened her eyes. Her voice entered the submersible without radio. "Maya Reeves." Maya's blood went cold. Commander Hale reached for his sidearm, though it would do nothing inside the submersible. "How do you know my name?" Maya asked. The woman looked at her with sadness. "Because I have been waiting for you." Fallen stepped closer to the glass. "Who are you?" "My name is Elara Voss, commander of the Earth Ark Fleet, last survivor of the first human age." Hale shook his head. "That cannot be real." "To you, no. To time, many impossible things are only forgotten." The gate pulsed behind her. The crack widened, and the dark shape beyond it pressed closer. It was not a ship. It seemed alive, huge and silent, like a creature made of night. Elara looked back at it. "We have little time." Maya leaned forward. "What is that?" "The Hollow's master, the thing they truly serve. We called it the Null King." Fallen stepped back slightly. Maya had seen him face death, but now she saw true terror. Elara continued, "Long before your recorded history, humanity was not trapped on one world. We built gates.
We crossed galaxies. We reached places that should have remained closed. Her voice filled with pain. Then we found the Null King. The gate shook violently. Alarm screamed inside the submersible. Ilara lifted one hand, and the shaking slowed. We thought we could study it, control it, use its power to travel farther. But it used our pride against us. It turned our guardians into the hollow. It broke our empire. We sealed the gates and sent survivors back to Earth without memory of what we had been. Maya struggled to breathe. So humanity forgot? Yes, Ilara said, because remembering too early would have led you back here. Hale whispered, then why wake it now? Ilara looked at Maya. Because the Hollow found Earth, and because you answered the Kalorian distress call. That choice changed the pattern. You proved modern humanity could choose others over itself. Maya felt the weight of it. Above them, hollow ships surrounded Earth. Below them, an ancient enemy pushed through reality. What do we do? Maya asked. Ilara's expression hardened. You cannot seal the gate from this side anymore. The Null King is too close. Then how do we stop it? You open it fully. Hale shouted, that is insane. Ilara's eyes stayed on Maya. Open it. Draw the hollow fleet toward the gate, then collapse the passage from inside. But someone must carry the living command into the core. Maya understood. A sacrifice. Ilara spoke softly. And it cannot be me. The gate has already rejected my bloodline. Then the hollow ships above Earth began firing. As explosions lit Earth's sky, Maya realized the choice was no longer whether to enter the gate, it was who would follow her in.
Explosions flashed above Earth. The hollow ships attacked the orbital defense stations. Blue shields flared across the planet like lightning trapped in glass. On the surface, cities darkened as emergency systems took over. Earth was under attack, and the gate beneath the Pacific continued opening. "Captain!" Hale shouted. "Earth defense is returning fire, but the Hollow were using mirror fields again. Target locks keep failing." Maya looked at Ilara through the glass. "Can the gate pull them in?" Ilara nodded. "If it opens fully, the Hollow will move to claim it. They cannot resist the first gate. It is the center of their old command system." Thalen understood. "Then we make their hunger a trap." Maya nodded. "Exactly." Hale shook his head. "Captain, someone has to carry the command into the core. That means entering the gate." "I know." "Then I'm coming with you." Maya turned sharply. "No." Hale's face hardened. "With respect, you don't get to carry this alone. The Resolute is my ship too. Earth is my home too." Before Maya could respond, Thalen stepped forward. "And I will go." Maya stared at him. "Admiral, your people need you." "My people needed honor long before they needed me," Thalen said. "The Kalorians ruled through fear. We caused pain and called it order. Then humans answered our call when no one else did. If Earth falls because of a war that began in our space, I will never forgive myself." Maya wanted to argue, but the gate widened again. Ilara's voice sharpened. "There is no more time." Maya opened a channel to the surface. "Admiral Keller, we are opening the gate fully. When the Hollow fleet moves toward the Pacific, keep them packed together, hit them from orbit." Keller's reply came through heavy static. "That could expose Earth. It also gives us one chance to end this." A pause. Then Keller said, "Understood. Make it count." Maya looked at Hale and Thalen. "Suit up." Minutes later, 3 figures left the submersible in deep-sea armor. The pressure should have crushed them, but the gate's energy wrapped around their bodies like a shield.
Maya moved through the black water toward the glowing ring. Alara floated beside her, fading now as if every second near the gate was taking more of her life. "When you enter," Alara said, "do not trust what you see. The gate will show memories, fear, regret. It will try to break your command." Maya swallowed. "And if it breaks us? Then the Null King comes through." Above them, the hollow fleet changed direction. Every black ship turned toward Earth's ocean. The trap had begun. Maya reached the center of the ring. Hale stood on her left. Thalen stood on her right. Together, they entered the light. The Pacific vanished. Inside the gate, Maya did not find a machine. She found Earth burning under a sky from 1,000,000 years ago.
Inside the gate, Maya did not find walls, controls, or machines. She found Earth, but not the Earth she knew. The sky was dark red, the edges of the oceans boiled. Cities taller than mountains burned across the horizon. Towers split apart and fell into seas of fire. Ships filled the sky, but they were not modern human ships. They were older, brighter, far more advanced. This was Earth from the first human age. Maya stood on a glass bridge above a dying city. Hale appeared beside her, breathing hard. Thalen stood nearby, stunned by the scale of the ruin. "This is not real," Hale said. Ilara's voice echoed from everywhere. "It is memory. The gate remembers." A shadow moved across the burning sky. Maya looked up. The Null King was there. It was not a creature with a simple body. It was darkness shaped into presence, filled with broken light and distant stars. Its weight pressed against Maya's mind like a hand closing around her throat. Then the screams began. Ancient humans ran through the streets. Parents carried children. Soldiers fired weapons that looked like captured lightning. Hollow guardians, once bright and silver, turned against their makers and opened fire. "They betrayed us," Ilara said, "but only because we betrayed ourselves first." The vision shifted. Maya saw scientists gathered around a smaller gate. Their faces were proud, excited, hungry for discovery. They believed they had found unlimited power. Then darkness touched them. Their eyes changed, their voices became one. The Null King had not invaded Earth by force. Humans had invited it in. Maya's chest tightened. Why show me this? The world changed again. She stood on the bridge of the Resolute. Smoke filled the air. Her crew lay dead across the floor. Earth appeared on the screen behind her, cracked open by hollow weapons. Hale stepped back in horror. A voice whispered through the smoke. "You cannot save them." Maya knew it was the Null King. "You are small. Your life is short. Your courage is noise before silence. Give me the command, and I will let Earth live." Thalen raised his weapon. "Do not listen." The darkness turned toward him. The scene shifted. Thalen stood on Kaleoria Prime. His capital was whole again. His people bowed before him. The Hollow were gone. Earth was gone. The galaxy belonged to his empire. The Null King whispered, "I can return what you lost." Thalen trembled. For one painful moment, I feared he might accept. Then he lowered his head. "My empire needed to change," he said. "I will not trade another world for my pride." The false Kaleoria cracked apart. Hale's vision came next. He saw his family on Earth. His younger sister begged him to return. Hale covered his ears. "Stop!" Maya grabbed his arm. "That is not her." "It sounds like her," he whispered. "I know, but love does not ask you to betray everyone else." Hale looked at her, broken but steady. Then he nodded. The vision shattered. They stood before a massive glowing core. Blue light twisted around it like living rivers. Ilara appeared beside them, weak and fading. "This is the heart of the first gate. Give the living command now." Maya stepped forward, but before she could speak, the core turned black. The Null King had reached them. When darkness wrapped around the gate's heart, Maya heard the Null King speak in her own voice. The Null King spoke in Maya's voice. Not a rough copy, a perfect one. Every breath, every pause, every hidden weakness sounded real. The voice came from the blackened core and filled the gate around them. "Maya," it whispered, "you are tired." She froze. Darkness moved like smoke around the gate's heart. Blue light fought back, but the blackness kept spreading. "You have carried Earth," the voice continued. "You have carried strangers, soldiers, the dead and the living. You pretend you are strong, but inside you are breaking." Maya's hands tightened. Hale stepped closer. "Captain, don't answer it." The Null King laughed with Maya's laugh. "She already answered. Every fear inside her is a door." The world changed. Maya was no longer inside the gate. She was standing in her mother's kitchen on Earth. Rain tapped against the window. Warm light filled the room. Her mother stood at the counter, making tea the way she used to when Maya was young. Maya's heart twisted. Her mother had been dead for 12 years. "My brave girl," her mother said gently, "you have done enough." Maya could not move. The smell of tea was real. The rain was real. The pain in her chest was real. Her mother turned and smiled. "Come home." Maya's eyes burned. For one moment she wanted to believe it. She wanted to sit at that table, to be small again, to be safe again, before aliens, before war, before every decision carried the weight of billions. Then Thalen's voice cut through the vision. "Captain Reeves!" The kitchen flickered. Maya saw the gate for half a second. Hale was on one knee, fighting his own vision. Thalen stood firm, but darkness had wrapped around one of his arm. Ilara was fading fast. "Maya," her mother's image said, suddenly desperate, "if you leave, you will never see me again." Maya looked at her. Tears slipped down her face. "I know," she whispered. The false mother reached out. "Then stay." Maya shook her head. "My mother would never ask me to abandon Earth." The kitchen cracked like glass. The illusion vanished. Maya stood again before the blackened core. The Null King screamed, no longer using her voice. Now it sounded ancient and furious. "You are only human." Maya stepped forward. "Yes," she said, "that is why I won't kneel." Hale rose beside her. Thalen tore the darkness from his arm and joined them. Ilara lifted one fading hand toward the gate's heart. "The command must be spoken by a living will, but it must be held by more than one soul. Alone, you will fail." Maya understood. She reached for Hale's hand, then for Thalen's. Human, human, Kalorian. 3 lives, 3 choices, 1 command. The blue light surged. Outside the gate, the hollow fleet was gathering above the Pacific, drawn into a perfect circle around the opening. Inside, Maya faced the darkness. "Close." The gate shook. The Null King roared. The core began to collapse, but as the gate started closing, the Null King made one final move. It grabbed Thalen and pulled him into the dark. The Null King grabbed Thalen and dragged him into the dark. Maya saw his hand reaching back. Then he vanished. The gate's heart shook harder. Blue light and black shadow twisted together like storms fighting inside one sky. The command had started, but it was not complete. The gate was closing, but too slowly. "Hail!" Maya shouted. "Hold the command!" "I'm trying!" Hale cried. Blue energy wrapped around his armor. The power of the gate moved through them now. It burned through Maya's bones, through her memories, through every part of her that wanted to survive. Ilara appeared beside her, barely visible. "If Thalen breaks inside the darkness," she said, "the Null King will use him as a path back out." Maya looked at the black core. "Then I'm going after him." Hale turned in horror. "Captain, no! If I don't, everything fails." Before he could stop her, Maya stepped into the shadow. Cold swallowed her. The world disappeared. She found herself inside a throne hall on Caleria Prime. The palace was untouched. Golden banners hung from tall walls. Thousands of Calerians kneeled before a throne. On that throne sat Thalen. He looked younger, stronger, proud. The Null King whispered around him, "This is what you lost. This is what humans will take from you. Before them, you were feared. Before them, you were powerful. Take my hand, and your empire will rise again." Maya walked toward him. "Thalen!" He did not look at her. "My people were safe when they feared me," he said quietly. "No," Maya replied. "They were alone." That made him flinch. The Null King's shadow moved behind the throne. "She lies. Humans will replace you. They will lead the alliance. Your people will become servants." Maya stopped below the throne. "Humans will make mistakes," she said. "The alliance will struggle, but at least your people will have the chance to become something better than feared." Thalen's eyes lowered to her. Maya softened her voice. "You held the line for children who would never know your name. That is who you are now, not a conqueror, a protector." For a long moment, Thalen did not move. Then he stood. The false throne cracked beneath him. "I am done serving pride," he said. The palace shattered. Maya grabbed his hand as darkness screamed around them. Together, they ran toward the blue light. Behind them, the Null King rose in its true form, vast and furious. "You cannot close me away forever." Maya pulled Thalen through the light. They crashed back beside Hale at the gate's heart. Hale was barely standing. Ilara was almost gone. Outside, the hollow fleet was being pulled into the collapsing ring. Their ships struck each other, breaking apart in dark fire. Maya, Hale, and Thalen joined hands again. This time, Thalen spoke with them. "Close!" The gate folded inward. The Null King screamed one final time. Then the darkness vanished. For one breath, peace returned. Then the gate began to explode. As the shockwave rushed toward Earth's surface, Maya realized closing the gate had saved humanity, but the ocean above them was about to be their grave.
The shockwave rushed upward. For one breath, Maya saw the ocean above her turn white with light. The first gate had collapsed, but its dying energy spread through the water like a newborn star. The submersible alarm screamed. "Pressure spike!" Hale shouted. "The hull can't take this." Thalen gripped the side rail with all four hands. "Can we reach the surface?" Maya looked at the broken displays. No engines, no clear path, no time. Then Ilara appeared one last time beside the cracked window. She was almost transparent now, only a faint shape of silver light. "The gate is closed," she said gently. "The Null King is trapped beyond the dark." Maya looked at her. "But Earth?" Ilara gave a tired smile. "Earth still has one defense left."
Before Maya could ask, the ancient symbols on the dead gate flashed again. Not blue, gold. The ocean floor opened beneath the ruined ring. Massive hidden towers rose from stone, silent after millions of years. They formed a circle around the gate and released a field of light that wrapped around the submersible, the collapsing structure, and the spreading shock wave. The explosion folded inward. The sea shook. Above the Pacific, golden light split the sky. Every hollow ship trapped over the ocean was pulled into the dying energy field. Their mirror shields failed. Their black hulls cracked. One by one, they vanished into the darkness they had tried to unleash. Then, everything stopped. Maya opened her eyes. The submersible was floating near the surface. Sunlight poured through the water. Hale was alive. Phelan was alive. Ilara stood before them, fading faster now. Maya whispered, "You saved us." Ilara shook her head. "No, Earth did. Your first ancestors built a weapon, but your generation gave it a reason to wake. Not fear, not power, sacrifice." Her voice softened. "Remember this, Maya Reeves. Humanity was never great because it built gates. It was great because when strangers cried for help, humans came." Then Ilara disappeared. Rescue ships arrived minutes later. When Maya climbed onto the platform, the whole world was watching. Earth's sky was bruised with smoke, but the planet was alive. Cities had survived. Families had survived. The hollow fleet was gone. Admiral Keller met her at the landing zone. "Is it over?" Keller asked. Maya looked toward the calm ocean. "The gate is closed. The hollow are broken. The Null King is trapped." Phelan stepped beside her. His face was tired, but peaceful. "The Kalornan Dominion will stand with Earth, not above it, not only beside it in war, as friends." Weeks later, Maya stood before the newly formed Interstellar Council. Human leaders, Kalorian survivors, and distant allies listened in silence. "We thought first contact meant discovering we were not alone, but we were wrong. First contact means choosing what kind of neighbor we want to be." She looked at Phelan, then Hale, then the stars beyond the window. "We answered one distress call, and it changed everything. Not because humans were the strongest, not because we were perfect, but because we came." The chamber stayed silent for a moment. Then Phelan stood. One by one, every alien delegate stood with him, not in fear, not in obedience, in respect. From that day forward, whenever a signal cried out in the dark, every world knew one truth: Earth would answer. May this message strengthen your faith and renew your hope. Thank you for staying until the end. If this touched your heart, like, share, and subscribe to Astro Realms for more uplifting content. May God's blessings overflow in your life. See you soon.